Okay, so I'm going to start with just going over my singleton design. So here's the UML for my managers. I'm demonstrating this with a data node manager, but it implements the exact same logic as my other three managers that you see right there. So my derived manager inherits from the base manager, and this base manager implements majority of the functionality and a base has two base collections that it owns through composition, one for the reserved list and one for the active list. This base collection is derived from, or rather, this D-link collection derives from the base collection, and um, I also have a tailed D-link collection, which also which derives from the D-link collection class, and it's just to because the reserve list doesn't actually need a tail. I decided to enable that distinction, just to not have any overweight or anything extra really. Um, and yeah, so besides that, I have the iterator, which is also which the D-link iterator derives from, and then the base node, which the D-link derives from. And you can see my base node actually has quite a few abstract methods, minus these two, quite a few abstract methods which must be implemented, and this just offloads some implementation from the data node manager. And just to elaborate on my design a little bit more, I have this D-link class, and in order to enable my next and previous fields to be private, I have my collection and my iterator inheriting from, or not inheriting from, being nested within my D-link class. And I haven't ran into any problems with it yet, but until I do, I'm going to maintain this design because I do like it. Yeah, so that's my design. Just to briefly show the TGA files, I am using these two scripts. No, I'm sorry, these two texture rectangles, I guess, in my demo. And now I would just go ahead and demo my game. So you can see I have exactly 10 sprites here, doing a number of different animations. Essentially, just I recreated the original Space Invaders demo that we had. But now, instead of using the basic Azul classes in my game, you can see that I am using my three different managers and instantiating all of those, and those are being maintained by the managers. And so I don't actually have to call create to instantiate the managers. Rather, just the first time that a method's called on them, the priv get instance method that's used to start each of my public static API methods. This method will create the instance if it hasn't been created yet. And so that's how my singletons are invoked, and they are being used to initialize each of the different sprites, images, and textures that are used in my demo. And lastly, I will just go ahead and show how. Oh, I guess briefly a little bit more. The singleton, I have just this static instance that each derived manager has. I have the create method, and like I had said before, if the instance is null, I create it. Otherwise, I just return it, and that's used throughout this, all throughout the manager. Okay, so now lastly, I want to just show the different kind of updates that I'm doing to the sprites. Like I said, I basically just reuse the original demo, but you can see here I still have public member variables for my sprites, so I can just directly update them and then call update on them after. And then so this is modifying the angle, the x and y, the scaling to enable the stitch to be upside down. I also have implemented a swap sprite color, so given RGB values, I can swap the color of a particular sprite, and that about covers everything. Actually, lastly, I do have this swap screen rect method as well, which just is a wrapper around the Azul sprite swap screen rect method. And so, yeah, just I'm modifying x and y variables, and then just like that, I call render, and everything's drawn.